Alright, today we're going to focus on making rough perspective. Rough perspective, real simple, is mapping out perspective without taking our guiding lines all the way to the vanishing point. And so we're going to have to learn how to kind of wing it a little bit, and that's the goal, because eventually we're going to get to a point where we're drawing, outside or in the hallway, and we're not going to have the ability to map every single guiding line out to our vanishing point. It's not a good practice. It's not really feasible, and sometimes you just won't even be able to because your vanishing points, especially like 2-point, might be off the page several feet. And so we're going to practice kind of roughing out our perspective. All right, when I start out with rough perspective, real simply, I'm going to put my horizon line and my vanishing point down. And then I'm going to map out all of my squares and rectangles for my 1 point. For right now, we're just going to do about 5 per section. And so here you can see they've kind of mixed them up and moving around different sizes. Then next, I'm going to start mapping out where my lines start to disappear towards that vanishing point. Now, it is very important that you do not use a ruler for this. If you're using a ruler for this, you can just line your ruler up with the vanishing point, and that defeats the whole purpose of this. I expect these to be rough. I expect them to be missing the dot quite a bit, and that's okay. Make sure you're actually doing this assignment in an attempt to learn what it is we're trying to learn. And so here you can see they've started mapping out the points towards the vanishing point, and they kind of finishes that out with all boxes. Real simple, right? Then what I want you to do is to pull out your ruler. All right, don't use a ruler before this. Then you can pull your ruler out, and I want you with a different color, and you can do that with either a colored pencil or a different colored pen. Map out your lines to the horizon line. Sometimes they will hit the vanishing point. You can see the box on the very far right is pretty close to the vanishing point, so it comes pretty close. But you see the box on the very far left misses quite a bit because it is so far away. He had a little trouble lining those up with the vanishing point. This is what I expect this to look like. I expect it to look wrong. All right, nothing wrong with that. This is to kind of help you see just how far off you are and just practice. This isn't gonna be for a grade if it's all covered in red. That's fine. Okay. Some mistakes I kind of see some kids run into when you're doing 1 point perspective. Make sure your squares are perfectly horizontal and perfectly vertical, and they line up with those axes. Don't tilt them and twist them in different ways. That'll make this assignment a lot harder. Okay. The next mistake I see is people actually mapping out their guiding lines, which is the whole point of this assignment, is to not do that. And so make sure you're actually looking at whether or not, make sure you're actually attempting this assignment by roughing in your boxes first, then mapping out where your guiding lines took off to. And so I'd like to try to squeeze 3 of these on each page. And I usually put about 5 per rough perspective, 3 on each page, 2 sheets. Should be real simple. Like I said, they should look like this. You can pause the video and use this as a time to look at that. You can copy them exactly like this. Obviously, your lines where it's red will be different, right? Because you're mapping them out. But rough perspective should be a nice, easy assignment.